Okay, as the story moves forward, we see that we have received a letter, the class has received a letter, and that is from Vanda's father. So we were, earlier we were bothered about where Vanda has gone, why she is absent from the class, why she is not there present in the school. So Miss Masson actually told the whole story, what has happened. So as she received a note, a letter from Vanda's father informing that none of his two children will attend the school as they are moving to a big city where no one will judge them for their names. So that is very quite clear that why they have left the city, because they were making fun, students were making fun of Vanda and her sibling. So that's why Vanda wanted to leave the school, especially the city. So you can see how much they were being tortured, they were being traumatized, that they do not even want to stay, they do not even want to just change the school, but the city itself. They were not happy with the city, and they are moving on to a big city where people will have broad minds and bigger perspective. They'll not make small things as an issue. They'll not think in naam ajeeb hai, so that's why the person is also weird. They'll not think about it in this way. So that's the reason the father, they wanted to change. Now what happened, as soon as the students, they came to know the reason of Vanda's leaving, they all were very shocked and surprised to read it. They did not like the reason. They were so surprised that why, what they have actually done, what all wrongs they have done to this little girl, that she is having such a long impact that she has to leave the city itself. The kids did not like their behavior at all, and they have realized their mistake. They all were shocked. Even the teacher was in shock, because all the happenings were whatever was happening in the school was in the absence of teacher. The teacher was not aware of it. So when teacher came to know, she was also in great shock that what kind of behavior, she was not expecting this kind of behavior from her students. So the entire class felt bad about it, but there was somebody who felt way too bad, and that was none other than Maddie. Maddie was very affected. She was affected by the situation, by the letter a lot, to a very great extent that she could not even concentrate on her studies. She was not able to keep her mind at one place. Her mind was again shifting, that why she has done it, what kind of behavior she has given to the little girl. She was very affected by the letter. She was very feeling too bad for it. Now what happened, there's a difference between Maddie's and Peggy's behavior. Again we can see Maddie, who could relate herself a lot to Vanda, was actually feeling bad about it. She was feeling too bad. She could not take it that what she has actually done. Why she was being so rude to her, that she has actually caused a great harm to the girl. But on the other side, Peggy, who too felt bad about it, but the impact was very little on Peggy. Peggy felt bad ki theek hai, ho gaya, it's fine. She felt bad. She wanted to say sorry, but the impact was not long lasting. Now why it was there's a particular reason about it. Maddie could relate herself to Vanda a lot in comparison to Peggy. Peggy has not seen all these things at all in her life. Peggy has been raised in a very good environment, in a very wealthy family, where all these things does not bother her at all. And still, because she has not gone through all these things, so she cannot still face it. She cannot put herself in the shoes of Vanda and realize what she might be going through. But Maddie could, because she is also having the same situation. She is going by the same thing. She could realize that it could have been her also if Peggy would not give her worn out clothes. So that's why Maddie could understand the situation in a better way than Peggy. Now what happened, as soon as they heard about Maddie, so Vanda, they both wanted to visit her and give her their apology. They wanted to apologize to Vanda for their very rude and very harsh behavior. So after school, they decided that they would go to Bogging Height, where Vanda actually used to live, and it is very muddy area. So they decided to go there and to apologize to Vanda. So as soon as the school got over, they rushed to that place. Now when they rushed to that place, on their way, they kept on praying that please they should meet Vanda. They just hope that Vanda has not left the town. She has not left the city. They were They kept on praying that this thing to God. But to their dismay, they were so disheartened, they were so sad to see that there was neither any sign of Vanda nor they could see any sign of her family. So as there was no sign of her, so this clearly stated that they have moved, they have shifted to the city. This made them feel very bad. They were again very distressed, they were very disheartened. And again, Maddie had a very great impact upon it. She lost her sleep. She was feeling sleepless. She could not sleep at night. She thought herself to be a coward to not stand against the wrong. She realized what all wrong she has done, and she blamed herself. That we have read it in the first chapter also. She knew it very well that whatever they both are doing, that is wrong. But she felt like a coward who could not stop Peggy from doing all the wrongs because she thought that she'll lose her friend. So for that reason, she felt very bad about herself. She could not sleep well. She could not even eat her food well. So it is clearly showing that what Maddie was going through was mental toll. She was not able to control her all the trauma that what she has done and what was the result of the things she has done. What is the consequences? She was not able to take all the consequences well. But there is something she decided, and that was not to repeat this in future. And that is really great on her part, that she has realized, a little girl who has realized her mistake and decided not to repeat in future is actually a great part on her side. That she has realized and she would not repeat it, and she also decided that she would not even let Peggy repeat the same mistake again. And if Peggy repeated it, she said that this time she'll come forward and say, even if it is at the sake of her friendship. Now she's even ready to give her friendship away, but she'll stand with the truth. So that is really a great part on behalf of Maddie. Now what happened next was, as they were not able to meet Vanda and speak to her face to face, the apology was actually bothering them to great extent, especially to Maddie. That she was not able to concentrate on things nearby, and she badly wanted to apologize for her mistake. All the trauma she was going through, she thought that the only thing that would make her feel better is an apology. And that's when they decided to write an apologetic letter. So as soon as the little girls, they started writing, they were not aware what to write in that letter. They have never said sorry before to anyone. So they were so confused how she could say sorry, how she could express herself. And instead of writing, they started writing with an apologetic letter, but instead of continuing with it, they ended up writing a very friendly note. So what they did, they wrote a very friendly, simple, sweet note, and which they were asking about her new place. So they could not even gather up the courage to say sorry, but all they could say was that how is the new place. And moreover, they wanted to know if the new place have better people, if the people there were not making fun, were not as selfish, as unkind as they themselves were, and they are not making fun of them. So they wrote an apologetic letter, a note, a very friendly note, which there was no reply of which. So they felt very bad about it, that maybe Vanda has not received it, maybe Vanda is not forgiving them, maybe Vanda is still very angry with them. All these things were going inside their heads. So week passed by and there was no reply. So there was weeks passed and still there was no reply from them. From her, but one sudden day Miss Masson announces that she heard from Vanda. So one certain day, Miss Masson, she announced in the class that she has heard from Vanda. She got a letter from Vanda, and the whole class got very excited to listen what Vanda wanted to say. Especially the excitement level was very high in Maddie. Maddie wanted to know very badly what was exactly in that letter. So the letter stated that Vanda wanted to gift one dress each to Peggy and Maddie. So the letter clearly stated that Vanda has gifted one dress each to Peggy and Maddie. So what it was there in the dress, Peggy got a green dress with a red sash, and Maddie was given a blue dress, which they concluded that Vanda did like them. So now they concluded that after getting the drawings of the dress, they concluded that yes, Vanda actually liked these two girls. Now why Vanda liked it and how she liked it? So she has not only gifted them any random picture. First of all, the picture were of those those two dresses which she has described very beautifully. Moreover, the picture of the dresses also have their faces on it. So when they looked very clearly in the picture, they realized that the drawing of green dress with red sash has face of Peggy, and the drawing of blue dress has face of Maddie upon it. So which clearly, if you go back to the story, which clearly states that Vanda never carried any hatred feeling or any dislike feeling for the girls. She instead liked them, she instead appreciated them, and maybe she also wanted to be one of the girls like them, not in the terms of their selfishness, but in the terms that she also wanted to be dressed beautifully and come to school. That maybe she desired to be like them. That's why she has given them these two gifts. Now if we see, Vanda has made these dresses when at that point of time when Peggy and Maddie were constantly teasing her, and still she has given them a beautiful gift, which shows that Vanda was very kind and generous and very wise girl. She was wise, she was intelligent to understand the situation very well. So what happens, she understood, and people should also understand this, that sometimes it is difficult for poor immigrant to adjust in an environment that is not conducive, something which is very new for them, that's something which is not even like their environment. It is hard for some poor immigrant also, like it was for Vanda. So if Vanda would not have seen such an environment, maybe her move to a different country altogether would have been a different, she would have been having a different experience, maybe a better experience, but she is not. However, there is a very good point about Vanda, that Vanda rose above all these petty things. Vanda did not bother herself about all these petty little things, small things, and still she loves her classmate. That she is not given value to all these little things, कि इसके पास क्या है, क्या नहीं है, what kind of clothes she is wearing, why this person is teasing me. She was above, she gave importance to all, she did not give importance to little things, but she herself knew it very well that emotions, friends and relations are above all these little petty things, and that's the reason she still loved her classmate. That's the reason she was still very fond of her classmates. She could give the same amount of love back to them. Now this was the end of the chapter. Now quickly see what we have learned from the story.